Welcome everybody to a new episode from our pilot season, a break from the daily grind. This episode's brought to you by Masters of Nine. We are a series of bad rolls. My name is Ben, and I'm here with my co-host Corey. Corey, buddy, how you doing today?
Dude, I could not get that coat off for a second. Stupid.
The heater a little too hot for you?
Little spicy. Little spicy.
So how was your week?
Oh, it was really good because I only had to work one day this week.
You suck.
You haven't had to work in like 2 months.
Oh, that's just because I have
you're
medical
old.
reasons.
Yeah.
So everything's going good then, huh?
Yeah, it did feel kind of weird going into work and being like there for one day, and then I'm like, I'm gonna put in for 2 days and take the rest of the month off.
You're terrible.
I'm human.
Right. Well, we'd like to do a few things here at the beginning that will hopefully add a smile to the rest of your day. So what we're thinking about doing is adding some jokes to the beginning of this podcast. I will see how your reaction is there, Corey. Okay, you ready?
This can't be good.
No, probably not. They're called dad jokes for a reason. Okay, what do you call a funny chicken?
I don't know. What do you call
A comedian.
So stupid.
Okay, why can't you trust the king of the jungle?
Why?
Because he's always lying.
See, I don't know why they call it King of the Jungle, because lions aren't even in the jungle.
I don't know.
These are stupid.
Okay. Where can you find a fish in space?
Where?
In trouter space.
That was the worst one yet.
Oh no, I skipped a couple.
I'm not even gonna give you a pity laugh for
Is it hashtag groan? Okay. Why did the unsuccessful farmer become a musician?
Why?
Because he had some sick beats, bro. No, nothing.
Wait, I'm trying to understand it.
Beats.
Oh, like
It's not so funny when I have to explain it.
No, the joke just shouldn't be garbage.
Well, you know what? It's only there. Hopefully, it brings a smile to somebody's face.
I mean, it did make me laugh.
Well,
They were entertaining.
Well, and that's the whole reason we're doing this, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so the last week we were doing video games.
Yes,
and
sir.
We did not get all the way through. Well, your list. There's, I think, one more on my list, but so we're going to hopefully have enough to finish this episode of video games. So this whole session should be about that. Since I started out with some stupid jokes, you can go ahead and pick from your list and let's go.
All right. Let's see what we're cooking with.
Let's see what the Rock is cooking. No, that's not how it goes, is it?
No, wait.
Can you smell what the Rock is cooking?
Yeah, there you go. I used to be so big into wrestling. I can't even remember.
Yeah, you were. So video games.
Yeah, what did I talk about last week? Which ones did I?
We talked about.
It was RuneScape for me.
RuneScape,
Age of Empires. There was something else I can't remember.
Detroit.
Detroit Become Human.
Yeah, Detroit Become Human.
That one, I love that one.
We talked about Halo for a little bit and Guild Wars.
Yeah, yep. For your
Rainbow Six 3.
Rainbow Six, yeah.
Yep. So I think that was.
Man, I gotta do another single player game because it was it's called Dead Space.
I think I remember that one.
Yeah, I hated that game at first because it gave me nightmares.
That was because somebody wasn't looking at the, age level of those games. Shame on me.
No, man, that was all mom. That was all mom. She looked at the severed hand on the cover. She's like, "Oh, this is fine."
No comment. No comment.
No psychological conflict could be possible with
Severed hand.
Yeah, severed hand floating through space. Yeah, I'm sure it's fine. Therapy won't be that expensive. But
I wish.
I got that one, and I think when I first got it, it was like 12 or something like that, and so
Yeah, probably.
I picked it up because it was in the retail bin, and so it was only like a few bucks. It looked really cool, like, because as a kid how you go to GameStop and stuff. Well, you probably don't because you're old, but I'm sure like when you had Nintendo games and stuff, did they ever come in like a box?
They all came in. Well, they all came in a box. But for when I was growing up, it was Blockbuster. Actually, is where I rented all my games.
Oh, I love Blockbuster.
Right.
Because when I get a new game and stuff on the way home, I'd always be looking at the back cover art.
Right.
I'd read like the case, everything on it, top to bottom, like 6 or 7 times, however long it took to get home from the store.
Right.
And then when you finally get home and you pop it in and stuff, ecstasy. But
you were supposed to read it, not swallow the book.
But I got playing this game. I think I got to like chapter 3 or 4 before I stopped playing it because I was too scared to continue. There were so many times where when the monsters would get close to me,
Yeah.
I would legitimately freak out and put the controller down and like close my eyes and sort of just like peek. And I'm like, is he dead yet? Is it over?
No, he's not dead yet. You're supposed to kill him.
Which I honestly should be, I don't know, like a badge of honor to the people who created the game.
Okay.
They made something so terrifying that I'm just throwing my stuff on the ground like, oh, get it away, get it away.
Kind of like those VR clips you see online.
Yeah. You seen the ones of the guys walking on the planks and stuff? They're on yeah. I saw one of a grandpa playing a zombie survival shooter,
right?
And yeah, I think he had a sword or something, but he started swinging the VR controllers around. And all of his family members are around, so he started swinging at them. So it was so good.
I've seen the ones where people run into walls. They just take off a dart, just wham!
Yeah.
Ooh, that looked like it hurt. I'm glad that wasn't me. That was some funny shit, though.
Anyways, back on track with that. I never finished it when I was a kid. But then I came back to it 3 or 4 years later, and I played through it. And it became one of my favorite games. Not at that moment, after I beat it, because I was very much a type of person, I bought the game, I need to finish it so I get my money's worth out of it. So I reluctantly continued to play through it again. I did finally beat it. I'm like, oh, I'm free. I never have to touch it again. Because I hate horror. I hate anything horror. I don't know why I picked it up. Maybe I didn't think it was a horror game.
Because the cover looked cool.
Yeah, probably, to be honest with you.
That's usually the way it works.
But I beat it, and then the second one came out. I'm like, ah, shit. Here we go again.
I got the first one. I gotta do the second one.
I'm invested. But essentially what the game is about is you're this engineer who gets sent on a repair mission. His name's Isaac Clarke. He gets sent on a repair mission to go aboard this vessel. It's a planet cracker. And what it would be used for is to mine valuable resources from planets that were uninhabited by anything. And so they would harvest the planets and use their resources, because at that time Earth was dwindling and didn't have any resources and was running low on energy. and everything. But they end up uncovering this thing called a marker. And what it is it's this like alien artifact, and it causes all these horrible side effects like hallucinations, dementia, all sorts of stuff. And what it is it's trying to communicate with the host. It kind of like manipulates you. And only certain people, though. There are only certain people that can understand all the stuff that's going in their head. What it's doing is it's trying to transfer instructions to you so that you build more and spread it around the galaxy and stuff. But the people who aren't smart enough or intelligent enough to actually decipher it and stuff go mad, and they end up becoming these things called necromorphs, which are these alien-like creatures that
alien zombies.
Yeah, pretty much. They like twists the flesh and everything and makes them these like almost sort of abominations, these almost eldritch like horrors. Terrifying. It's creepy. There's one in the game where it's just like a head with appendages on it, and it's like crawling around like a squid, like how a squid out of water would crawl around.
Right.
And if you have low health per se and it gets you, it'll like choke you out and then like cut your head off, and then it'll plant itself inside your body and just take control of your body and like puppeteer your body. When I saw that death animation and that happened, that was it. That's what made me quit the first time, and it lives rent free in my head sometimes.
It's planted in your body now.
Yeah. So I played through that one a bunch later. I did finish the second one. And then the third one came out, and that was the final one. They had plans to make a fourth one, but it got canceled, sadly. But I played through the third one. I really liked the third one because that one was co-op, and so you could play through it with a friend.
Those were a lot better for me. I like those better.
The co-op?
Yeah.
I played it single player, it was good, and then I played it with a friend, and that was really good too. I feel like the third one was meant to be played co-op. Just for like, I feel like the story was more impactful, but I really enjoyed the story of it and like the characters and everything. It's one of my favorite games. I've played through the entire series like 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 times.
Wow.
Just a lot because I love it that much. I'll play through the entire thing like every Halloween because it kind of gets you in the. It's about that time. It gets you in the mood. Yeah, it's scary and stuff. Yeah. And then they came out with a remaster for the first Dead Space.
As if they needed better graphics for the first one.
Yeah, you think I was shitting my pants before? You should see on this new engine with like top tier graphics, everything maxed out. Horrifying.
Right.
Horrifying. And they got an engine, the engine that the game runs on. It manipulates the game, so like when you're playing through it, things that happen to someone might not happen to you, or different things could happen to you than someone else.
So the algorithm changes for every player.
It does, yeah. Based on how well you're doing, how much supplies you have, where you're currently at, if you've backtracked in the game at all.
So Wiki's not going to work very well for that one, is it?
It does a little bit, just not when like enemies show up and stuff. They just come out of nowhere. It's really cool. I'm hoping they remaster the rest of it.
A random algorithm.
Yeah, but it's one of my. I usually don't read things in games either. I kind of just like play through it and stuff. This game, I went through. I found everything. I read everything because the lore.
Found every Easter egg.
Yeah,
everything.
The lore in it is really cool.
Yeah,
and it's super fascinating. Yeah, so I highly recommend it if you ever get a chance to jump into that one and play it.
If you make sure you get some adult diapers. So when you've done shit yourself, you can get cleaned up fairly easy.
Buy a brand new pack of clean undergarments really quick, Have them on standby, or better yet, find yourself one of those bedpans and tape it to your ass, so you don't even have to worry about any of that.
You just whoop.
Yeah. Oh,
glad I don't have to do laundry now.
Oh man, I didn't stain the couch this time.
Well, that's so much for a family show. Oh, well. Okay, well. I had one. I'll go ahead and I'll do one of mine next.
Yeah.
I had, and all mine were all computer games. I didn't I didn't pick any of the console games. I did have one that I played the crap out of.
What was it?
You had to ask. I was just going to say, but the title is slipping my brain here for a moment. I guess we'll just not worry about that right now. But the one that I had on my list still was Battlefield 1942.
Nice.
That was a 2002 first-person shooter game. That was developed by Digital Illusion, and it was published by Electronic Arts for Microsoft. That game could be played as single player against the video AI or multiplayer. We played both a lot. Or you could even play a LAN party. I'm sure you know what that is. And we used to, and you could play that game this way too. And we did that game a lot like that. I would go over to my buddy's house, and it'd be me, him, his brother, his dad, his brother-in-law, and I think once in a while they had somebody else. But we all go into his dad's house, and we had computers set up all over the place, wires and cords stretched all over the place. Because Wi-Fi was not really a thing then. Everything was hardwired, right? So we had Ethernet cables going all over the house. We'd set up in individual rooms, so we'd break up into teams, and then this team was out in the living room and the dining room, and this one was in the bedroom and the office and this room, so we all could talk without the other team hearing per se. And that was a mess.
I bet.
Oh man, but we had fun. We'd play all day like that.
That's what I want to do for, like, I don't know, some grand event in my life, like a bachelor party.
Right.
I want to do just like a whole LAN setup.
Right.
With my buddies.
Nice.
I think that would be cool.
Right. Yeah. You probably ought to think about checking into renting a trailer. A game trailer.
Yeah.
We had gotten one of those for your birthday once.
Yeah.
Of course, very few people showed up for it. So we had this great big fancy game trailer that nobody showed up for. But that would be the thing. They won't do computer stuff, but they would do console stuff.
Yeah.
And they have all those games already.
Yep.
So nobody has to bring their game. Everything's usually unlocked. You just set up, all come in this trailer and just have a good old time.
See, that would be fun.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's see. We had a lot of mods for that one as well.
Oh, I bet.
Oh man, the amount of mods we had for that one. We used to have one mod that we played almost all the time. It was called Modern Combat. Battlefield 1942. Not only did you have all the soldier characters, but you had tanks, bikes, Humvees, helicopters, planes, all kinds of stuff. You could use all those too, right? So we had the Modern Combat mod would take all the old military equipment, all the old tanks and old helicopters, and it would reskin them and give them modern weapons. All your characters had modern weapons. The maps were the same, but I mean it was cool. Instead of getting into a old Huey or something, I can't remember the old helicopters, but you got in a brand new Black Hawk or Apache, and instead of getting in the old rickety old tanks, you would get into Abrams tanks. That was just cool. We, like I said, we played the snot out of that. And then if we wanted to break, we would take the mod out, play the old version.
Yeah.
And that was hard to do. That was really hard to do.
I feel like with computer games, just like if you say it's on a PC and stuff, it's just required that there's like mod access to it at some point, Yeah,
I mean, because the ability to customize everything is so much nicer, right? Because the software is open, you can get into it. It's not running off a disk.
Yeah.
Because you're in computers, when it's on a disk, you can't modify the base files.
Yeah.
It's just stuck that way, and you can't really console runs them off the disk, or even if it's down. I mean, I don't know if you download them. I don't know. Today you might be able to crack into them, but back in the day you had to have a disk, so you weren't modifying nothing.
Nope.
So
and that's what I had. I wish somebody told 10-year-old me that when I was trying to spend hours for like weeks trying to mod Age of Empires.
yeah. There's a file there that says, "No, you have to have a disk. Can't change that. No."
This will be my last one.
No, that's fine.
Because I
I
know.
got one more too.
Oh,
so,
do you?
yeah.
Okay, perfect. Hold on.
But it's a doozy.
It's a doozy. Actually, I got a good one that a lot of people recently will know. I've just been playing it a bunch with my friends. Speaking of mods, it's called Lethal Company. If you're ever looking for like a game to play with a bunch of friends, that's the one.
Right.
So it's a super simple premise. You get 3 days to meet your quota. Okay? So what you're like these space explorers, or like, I don't know why you're doing what you're doing. I don't know the reason. There's no backstory to it. You just exist to collect things on a planet, bring it back to your ship, and pray to God that you meet the right amount required by the time that you turn all the stuff in and get your money. So it's up to 4. But if you mod it, you can have it up to as many as you want.
Right.
So essentially your goal is you land on this uncharted planet and you go into this facility and you find any scrap material that you can and you bring it back to your ship, and then each piece of scrap has a certain set value to it. So like $17, $100, $32.
Right.
And so each week, which consists of 3 days in the game, so each quota gets higher and higher every time you meet a quota. So the first one is like 180, I think.
$180 or 180 gold or whatever.
Yeah. And then after that, it goes up to like 240, and then it goes up again, and then again and again and again, until you can no longer just meet quota, or you don't for 1 week. So you go into these facilities and find all this stuff, but there's creatures in there that are actively hunting you.
Nice.
And looking to like kill you. On top of like, you have to watch out for spike traps or gun turrets or creatures that will sneak up on you, not make any footsteps, snap your neck, and kill you instantly.
Sounds like you may have run into one of those once or twice.
Multiple times. But it gets really chaotic because the game is proximity chat. So
Right.
I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Nah, probably not. Go ahead and refresh my memory.
So proximity chat is where you can only hear your teammates from a certain distance. So if we're both in the building and looking for stuff, if you go 2 rooms down, I'm not going to be able to hear you.
Okay.
Or maybe I'll be able to hear you very faintly if you scream at the top of your lungs.
Okay.
And so that's what really adds to it too, because
Right.
you don't know if anybody is alive or not. If you go off by yourself, there's no way to check in. Like, you can buy a walkie-talkie, but that takes up one of your inventory slots, which is really valuable. So
Now, I had a question. When you meet a quota and you have to do the next one, does what you already have carry over, or do you start back at 0?
you start back at 0.
Okay.
You get to keep the money and use it for like upgrades and buying tools,
stuff, yeah.
but it doesn't roll over to the
Okay.
next quota. And so we get like 8 or 9 people playing that one, and it gets really chaotic.
I bet you it gets
It's
intense.
so you'll have like a group that goes off and does their own thing this way. You'll have like 2 people staying on the ship watching everybody to make sure like things aren't going wrong. You'll have another group that goes really deep. You'll have the one guy who doesn't know what he's doing at all. You have the other guy that's like goes up with you to the facility, and then they just run off and you never see them again until the end. Then you have the one guy who's like hates another guy on the crew, and so he's like, when we get really deep in there, I'm gonna kill him.
So
and
nobody
then,
knows.
Yeah, so nobody knows. And then I'm gonna take his stuff. And then
Can you do that?
you can do Yeah. So
I don't know what happened to Joe.
so there was
Maybe
one-
that creepy thing come up behind him and snapped his neck.
There was one time we were being chased by a monster and we were like freaking out. And I got to a door. My buddy was right behind me. I'm like, survival of the fittest. And I shut the door on. He grabbed him.
Well, that's horrible.
It's funny because even after they die, you can hear them for like 2 seconds after they're technically dead.
Right.
So it's like, but it like cuts it out, and so it like echoes. So I heard like an echoed you. So that one's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
If you have
a group to play with.
there's an enemy in there, and with mods you can make it even more scary.
Oh, I bet.
And so it's called a mimic. So I'm sure you know just by the name what that means.
Yeah, I've had. Matter of fact, I won't get too deep in, but the next game that I was going to talk about, the last session that we just did, we just ran into a pair of mimics.
Really?
Yeah. So yeah, go ahead.
So what they do is they're these creatures that look exactly like you or one of your teammates.
Yeah.
And so we downloaded a mod where they can mimic, like it captures audio clips of you guys talking in game, and then the creature can use those audio clips.
So you don't know whether it's oh jeez.
And so we added another mod where you can do like little emotes if you press a specific button and stuff. So you can like dance or you can like wave and stuff.
Right.
Well, what we didn't know is that mod also gave it to the mimics too. So when we would wave, or when they would wave, we had one that came through the door and it sounded like my buddy Logan and stuff.
Right.
He's like, "Hey, are you guys in here?" And then it just started like dancing. So we were like, "Oh, well, I can't be. The mimics don't dance."
It's a dance party.
Yeah. And the next thing I know, it grabs Andrew and consumes him and turns him into a mimic. I started freaking out.
You're like, yeah, screw this. I'm
Yeah,
gone.
dude, it's time for retirement.
I don't care about the quota now.
Yeah, I don't care about the quota. I don't care if they're offering me a pizza party. We are not a family.
We are not family. All right, so the last one that I put on my list, which is probably older than, all of our gaming careers put together.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of friends and I from work and myself started playing this one about a year ago. Of course, I think you already know which one this one is.
Yeah.
This is a very famous game called Dungeons & Dragons. That was actually, and I didn't know, I started looking it up, it was actually released in 74.
1974?
Yeah, 1974. So this game is older than I am, right? So the original game that Dungeons & Dragons was based off was called Chainmail,
Mm-hmm.
right? It was kind of a strategy of war type game. This other guy, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name because I will screw it right up, who enjoyed playing that game, actually came up with a spin-off of Chainmail, and it was called Blackmoor. So this is all started in 71, which was, before the release of Dungeons & Dragons. So the one guy had modified Chainmail, and he had wrote his own rules.
Mm-hmm.
The rules in the playbook was actually 18 to 24 pages long, which is not very long. I mean, because now the rule book for D&D is like an encyclopedia, right? It's just massive. So as you know, Dungeons & Dragons is actually it's a strategy game of the mind, right? And the best way I can explain it is it's a story. So your dungeon master is the author, and the other players are characters. So what you are essentially doing is your dungeon master writes the quest. Got a quest, you go here, you go there, you go there, you go there. And then your characters, depending on what they do, can change the outcome of the story. Sometimes, depending on your dungeon master. I know my dungeon master, Brad, sometimes he lets us wander off and kind of get sidetracked, and then all of a sudden he's like, this quest was supposed to be over 6 months ago, and we're still going. So I'm like, well, you need to get us back on track then, buddy. So it's kind of interesting, but it's a nice game to if you're really into storytelling, you really like the whole customization of your character, because like our group, we have to create our own characters. We have to create our own backstory. There's no pre-made characters.
Mhm.
All the skills and all the feats we have to choose according to class, race, and all that other good stuff. It is a game that takes a lot of concentration
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of prep. And I'm not the kind of person that usually likes those kind of games.
Yeah.
I'm more like, give me the controller and we'll just run through it the quick as we can and get where you can. But this is kind of cool because I know all the guys, right? So we're kind of a tight group. 4 out of 5 of us actually work together. So we know each other on a personal level. And it's pretty cool. And it's actually why the studio that we're in right now was actually built, was actually for that game. And of course we're always tweaking stuff and hopefully here pretty soon, once we learn how to actually record, edit, and actually play the game, because most of us never played it. Two of our members played it a lot. The oldest guy, he's in his 60s. He played it in the 70s when it came out.
Nice.
So he's been, he's forgot most of it, but those two played it a lot. So they know a lot of the rules. They know a lot of the ins and outs. But the other 3 of us are fairly new, so we're constantly learning and tripping over our own 2 feet. But I'm hoping that in the next, couple months, depending on availability of all the people that play, that I'm hoping that we will get to start our new quest.
Nice.
And once we get ready to start the new quest, we are actually going, because we've been recording these just like a regular podcast, and we've been editing them, trying to learn how to play, trying to learn how to do the actual setup for the equipment and recording and all that good stuff. So when we start the new quest, which I'm not exactly sure what that one's going to be called, but we will hopefully try to actually release those as a podcast. So that's going to be kind of cool.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Although we have to put disclaimers and all that good stuff up there, because we are all factory rats and we get pretty rude. But it's all done in fun. We love to have fun with it, so we are going to see where that goes. And for those that want to follow or listen, or just the name of that is actually the same that brought you this episode. It's going to be Masters of Nine, because we roll enough nines to name a podcast after. So and that's exactly the truth. And one day we were playing, and it's like every roll was 9, 9, 9, 9. And I'm thinking, and we went back and I was editing it and I was listening. And I was like, that's ridiculous how many low numbers we pulled.
Weighted dice.
Actually, no, because half of us, I have a set of dice. Brad has a set of dice. But the other 3, they don't bring dice usually.
Mm-hmm.
So they use the electronic ones. So you can't say it's weighted, right? Because I kept trying to steal Brad's. I think your shit's weighted, man. I want to use yours. He's like, nope. That's just wrong. But one time we were goofing around and we threw a bunch of low numbers. We're like, dude, we could name a podcast after this. And that's how we actually came up with the name, Masters of Nine, because we kept throwing 9s. And on a 10 die, that's good, and a 10 and a 12. But most of your rolls are off a 20-sided die.
Mm-hmm.
Well, 9 is not very good, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of a shitty number. And it seems like that's all we were doing. And every time we had to do something was like 9. Like, this is ridiculous.
Son of a bitch.
Son of a 9. So, yeah. And I'm sure a lot of people that are listening, there's probably quite a few that actually know this game. They're like, yeah, I can relate. So that will be kind of interesting. And of course, we're still trying to figure out how to do this table that I built so we can project our maps right here, so we have a good visual.
Yeah, this thing's really cool.
Yeah, it is nice. The whole room is set up. It really does a nice job. I think once we can keep on track, because sometimes we get way off.
Yeah.
I mean, left field isn't even close to where we end up sometimes. I mean, sometimes I have more crap to edit than we actually play. It's just ridiculously like that. Or we're ridiculous like that, I guess. It will be interesting to see how that rolls out. And that one, my friend, will be my last one. You got another one?
Nah, well, I mean, I do, but we'd be here all day.
Be here all day?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I chose my current favorites.
Current
at
favorites?
the moment. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's. We got 15 minutes or so left. Let's take this little soiree we got here going for video games, and we will take it one step further. Let's talk about board/card games.
Monopoly. That's the go-to. That's the Thunderdome of board games.
Do you know that Monopoly actually landed at number 3 in the top 20 board games of all time?
What are the top 2?
Monopoly. I'll just do Monopoly first. Monopoly has over 275 million copies sold.
Holy.
And was introduced in 1937. Right?
Dang.
So there is, it has been, it actually set a world record for the most people playing it. 500 million people have played that game worldwide since 1999.
I'm pretty sure there's also a thing in there somewhere that's Monopoly has the most spin-offs, like the most versions.
I was just getting ready to that. That was when I was looking into that. They said there's more than 1,500 different versions.
Wow, that is crazy.
I didn't even try to look. I didn't even try to write them down. I'm like, we'll just go with that.
Bruh, I swear to God that anything that exists, there's a version of Monopoly for it.
And it's been in quite a few. Actually, people that watch TV a lot, they've actually seen that in there. Like, I think one of the games I've seen it in was Sopranos.
Yeah.
They're actually playing that one, and there was another one too. Monopoly has appeared in pop culture, including One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which I never seen that one or heard that one. Gossip Girl, I've heard of it, but I never saw it in there. And The Sopranos. So those are three movie TV shows that game has actually been in.
Dang.
Yeah. Now we have 2 versions here at the house.
Yeah, you do, don't you?
We have the original and we have Cheaters Edition.
I never played that one.
I didn't play it. The girls played it because it had a whole new set of rules to it. I'm like, I just wasn't feeling learning a new version right now.
Fair.
Or that day. But it actually allows you to cheat the game.
Yeah.
And the thing is the other players are supposed to catch you doing it.
Okay.
And it's kind of goofy. But the thing I don't like about it is that when you go to jail,
yeah,
it has actually handcuffs. You're supposed to handcuff yourself to the board.
That's hilarious.
No, I don't really want to do that.
Too much investment.
Well, and because there's actually a cheat there, right? You're supposed to get away with picking the lock and opening the handcuffs, uncuffing yourself while the game's in play.
That's hilarious.
And if you do that, you get to win something. I forget, you get like money or something. But there's all kinds of weird feats to it. Like there was one where you have the board set up and then you have all the properties tucked alongside the edge that are open. Mm-hmm. There's actually one there that you're supposed to steal one of the properties on the board without getting caught.
Really?
Yeah. So it definitely requires you to really pay attention.
It sounds like it.
The kids, they love it. I mean, they're like, oh, yes, gotta have it. And I'm like, you guys have fun with that. I'll watch. So you also asked about the top 2.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The first one, I don't know if you've ever played. Maybe. Got a guess?
I want to say that my guess would be chess.
Chess, number 1.
Okay.
Right?
All right. I figured it had to be
3 million copies sold every year.
Yeah, that doesn't.
Okay.
That doesn't surprise me.
And that game was introduced in 1200 AD.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, representing my medieval bros.
Oh, no, not even close. I got some on here that are way older than that. Number 2. Got number 2?
Wait. Chinese checkers.
It doesn't specify Chinese,
But checkers?
checkers.
Okay.
50 billion copies sold.
Wow.
Introduced in 3000 BC.
3000 BC?
That's what the website said.
I did not realize it was that old.
Yep.
That's crazy.
So Scrabble was Monopoly was number 3.
Yeah.
Scrabble was number 4, right? With
Mhm.
150 plus million copies sold, introduced in 38. Along with Clue.
Oh, I love Clue.
Hit number 5.
Wow. I would have never guessed that
Yeah,
one.
it also had 150 million copies, or 150 plus million copies. Number 6, which I remember having this as I was a kid, Battleship.
Oh, I love Battleship.
Battleship was introduced in 1931. I'm like, I didn't think it was that old. But it had over 100 million copies sold. Number 7 is one I'm not real fond of.
Mm-hmm.
I take that back. This one's not too bad. It's Trivial Pursuit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not really one of my top
Yeah.
ones, but that one there was 100 plus million. And that one there was actually only introduced in 81.
You know what one I loved that was cool? Risk.
Risk made the top 20.
Really?
Yep. Risk was number 15. 25 million copies, or 25 million plus copies sold. Introduced in 1958.
Every time I think about Risk, I think about Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah.
Because they had a dedicated episode on there where half of it was them playing Risk.
Yeah.
So like Malcolm ended up in the hospital for something, but he's like in the show he's like a genius. And so they never played it because he'd always just like wiped the floor with them and stuff. And so since he was in the hospital and he wasn't home, the rest of the family played it, and it made them like super competitive and stuff. They had like they were so afraid of the others cheating that when they ordered a pizza, they made them come in through the window because they didn't want to leave and have all their stuff get messed with and stuff. That was a good episode, but every time I see it, it makes me want to play Risk.
I don't think I've ever played that game.
Risk?
I've looked at it, I think, in the store once or twice,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think I've ever played it.
It's fun.
That's a strategy, right?
It is a strategy game. And so it's like essentially the board is a map of the entire world.
Okay.
And you get like each part of the map is like divided up and stuff. So like
4 players?
Yeah, no, I think it can be up to 8.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Let me
2 to 6.
Yeah, 2 to 6. So you can have a pretty decent amount.
I might have to check that one out.
Risk
'cause-
it's a lot of fun. So essentially it's like you roll dice and then it's essentially I think the more soldiers you have on a province, because the map is divided up into provinces.
Right.
So Europe is like, this is totally going to be like wrong, but say Europe's like 12 provinces.
Okay.
Asia's like 20 provinces. Australia's like 5 provinces. You know, Africa's like 13 provinces. Yada, yada. And you have an army. Someone controls like a province. Like everybody
Right.
controls a certain number of provinces to start.
Okay.
I think you roll for it or
Okay.
whatever, and then what you do is you announce who you're gonna attack. Like, oh, I'm gonna attack purple on this province here, and that'll like get you into a battle. And so if you have a certain number of soldiers, I think the more soldiers you have, the more dice you get to roll. And so whoever rolls the highest number wins the battle.
Oh, okay.
And then you take that province from the player who lost the battle.
I'm definitely getting weighted dice for that one.
It's a lot of fun though, but essentially it's like the winner is the last person.
Takes over everybody.
Yeah, whoever owns every province on the board.
So we'll just go ahead and we'll cover the top 10. So Trivial Pursuit was number 7. This one here, to this day, I still haven't figured out how to play this one. Backgammon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
don't
no.
even ask me.
88 million plus copies sold. That one also was introduced in 3000 BC. So that's been around forever too.
That sounds like the name of something that would be.
Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, obviously I got these numbers from the internet, so I don't know how accurate they are. I didn't do a lot of double checking, but I found the list and I thought, well, yeah, it's close enough. So that was number 8. Number 9 is one I had as a kid, and I think you did too. Maybe not. Candyland.
Oh, I love Candyland.
Candyland actually hit number 9.
Really?
Yep, with 50 plus million copies sold and introduced in 1949. That's been around forever.
Man, I just think of Lord Licorice making me lose.
Lord Licorice licked ya.
Oh, I hope not.
Ew.
Call the cops.
Now, this one here I'd never heard of, right? It's called Rumby Cube.
I've
Rumby
never-
Cube 10. I don't know. That had 50 plus million copies sold too. It was introduced in 1950. There was a few on here. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 of them
Mhm.
in the top 20 I'd never heard of. So I was like, that was really weird.
That is crazy that they're like up there.
Right.
And not even like a word. I
Yeah.
can understand not owning them, but not even hearing about them is kind of crazy.
Well, they had one here that was actually introduced in. There's 2 of them in. There was one called Blotkus,
Yeah.
Blokus, Blotkus.
Lot kiss.
Never heard of it, right? 3 million copies sold, introduced in the year 2000.
Oh.
And Cranium actually hit number 20, and it was released in 01.
Now, see,
21.
I've heard of Cranium before.
Yeah, I did too. Never played it, but I heard about it. So,
Man, because you said that I might not have played chess and stuff, and I didn't for like the longest time
right.
until like 4 years ago. Holly showed me how to play chess, and then I got really into it for a bit. I started because you can play it for free online
Right.
against people. And so I was doing that. I was getting the floor wiped with me. I had no idea what I was doing, but it was really fun once you like learned how to do it and stuff. I didn't realize how cool chess was.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. I actually taught my mom how to play that when I was a kid.
You taught Grandma Cheryl how to
Yep.
play it?
Yep,
Really?
I wiped the floor with her, but I didn't show her all the tricks. Shoot, I mean, I mean, come on, give me some sort of credit.
I do remember you and John used to play it.
Yep, we used to play it a little bit too.
Whenever we go over to Grandma Cheryl's,
Yep.
if we were ever inside for a long period of time, you guys would play it.
Right. Yep. So, there's actually one card game here that I know we're pretty much going to call it a wrap here real quick, but there's one card game that I actually like to play, and that is, can you guess?
Is it Uno?
Uno.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite card games. I'm more of a card game player myself.
Mhm.
Board games are okay. I like playing them. I have fun playing them, but I prefer card games over board games.
Yeah.
So when I was looking into that, I was shocked because, like Monopoly,
Mm-hmm.
there was, according to what I found, there's 716 different copies and spin-offs of Uno.
Oh wow.
I'm like, I didn't realize there was that many. That's
So
ridiculous.
there's a lot of Unos.
Yeah, that was definitely not one no more.
Yo, I was gonna say that.
So there, I mean, I did write a few down, and some of these we have. There was obviously the Uno that everybody knows,
Mm-hmm.
and it topped at 151 million copies worldwide.
Oh wow.
Yep, and with 700 plus different versions. So some of them was obviously the original, right? Then you have Uno Attack, which
Mhm.
you probably know of. Uno Flip.
Mm-hmm.
We have the regular. We had the Attack. We have Flip. The other one that we have that we play that we enjoy a lot of is Uno No Mercy.
Yeah.
You want a game that keeps everybody on their toes? That game, my friend, outdoes them all. I don't care. That one's my favorite version.
Bro, Uno is ruthless.
Oh, No
It's-
Mercy is
it's-
even worse.
I played Uno with Brandon and his ex-girlfriend one night when we were still at the old apartment.
Yeah.
And that game, I kid you not, I was like, oh yeah, I'll play a quick game of Uno before bed. And so it was like 9 o'clock. I had work in the morning. I kid you not, this game went on until 1 in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. We didn't even finish. I just went to bed because I'm like, I can't be up any longer. I can't do this.
Yeah. So the other copies that we have, that I have one more here that we have is Uno Ultimate.
Yeah.
Not my favorite. It's quite complicated. There's a lot of rules to that one.
Okay.
But there's also Uno Dare,
Mm-hmm.
which not my cup of tea. And the one I haven't looked into is called Dos.
Dose. Oh no.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's twice as many cards. It's Uno, but it's twice as many cards, I think.
They made a sequel.
Yes. Yeah. I almost picked that one up, but I was like, do I really want to? I don't know. All right. So, card game? Is there a particular card game?
Man, so nostalgic one for me actually. It's not like with actual playing cards.
Okay.
You know, it was War.
War.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. I don't know if you ever played that one.
Oh, yeah.
At all. We'd go up to visit great grandma, and she'd always have multiple decks of cards.
Yeah,
laying
she
around.
would.
Yeah. So me and mom would play that one a lot. We'd sit at the dining room table and we'd play for like a few hours and stuff. That one was a lot of fun. That I haven't thought about that game in years.
Oh, yeah. War. Yeah. That one.
The last time I played it was, God, when I think Dad was still alive, to be honest. So that was like 9 or 8 or 9.
It would have been before 8.
Yeah. So like 7 or 8.
Yeah,
so
7
yeah,
years old.
yeah.
Yep. I'm sure we can come back and visit this topic. We probably will end up doing this topic again.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll go ahead and wrap it up right here for now. Corey and I would like to say thank you to all that stayed to the end of today's discussion.
Yeah. Thanks, yo. You're appreciated,
Oh, boy.
homie.
You are, and we hope that you enjoyed this topic of chat, and we hope that you also join us next week for a new conversation, and hopefully we will get everything set up where we can get some responses here when we get everything online and rolling.
That'd be cool.
So we want to try one more thing to give you guys something to think about until next time. We're going to sign off for this time with a thought of the day. Or maybe it's something that you need to hear, or something that will bring a smile to your face, or make your day a little fresher.
Some food for thought.
Some food for the soul. We will do this quote from Mark Twain. A lot of people know who that is. When we remember, we are all mad. The mysteries disappear and life stands explained. And with that thought, we will say until next time.
Yeah, later.